Good morning, everybody. This is Miss Yao here. Today, I will be covering a topic, algebra. Algebra is covered in primary 6 and is also covered in secondary 1, normal technical, normal academic, and the express course for mathematics. Now, you might find that algebra is something that is abstract. Abstract means it's kind of hard to understand. However, if we were to look at really concrete examples, daily examples, real life examples, maybe you'll get a better idea of what it's about. So let's jump in to algebra. Now, what is algebra? Let us just start with the meaning for algebra. Algebra is a part of mathematics where letters would refer to, for example, X, Y, another common letter used, A, or even B, so on and so forth. Okay, and symbols will refer to, for example, the 4 operations are used to represent numbers and formula and equations. So this is a general idea of what algebra is all about. It's not just about numbers, but letters. Okay. Now, letters are also understood as unknowns. Unknowns means we don't know what the letter stands for. Now, let's see how algebra looks like by looking at a basic question. So it says that Ming Ming is 10 years old. How old was he 2 years ago? So 2 years ago, do you think he would be older than 10 years old or younger? He will be younger, right? Yeah, if he would be younger, he would be 10 minus 2 in terms of age, and that would be 8 years old. Now, how old then would he be X years ago? So instead of the number 2 years ago, now I'm asking, how old would he be X years ago? So instead of 10 minus 2, what do I need to replace the 2 by? You can see that my 2 over here is now being replaced by the letter X. So I will be writing his age as 10 minus, now instead of the 2, I'm going to put down the letter X. So this will be his age. This would be his age X years ago. Now, how old will Ming Ming be in 3 years' time? So 3 years' time means he has not reached that age. So 3 years later, you will have to add 3. So 10 plus 3, that gives you 13. However, if I were to ask you now, how old will he be in Y years' time? Oh, we don't know what Y is in terms of a number, but what you realize is my question for C and D looks the same. The only difference is I changed my number 3 to Y. So in Y years' time means that he would be 10 plus Y years old. Okay? So you are able to see my 3 now is no longer 3. It has been changed to Y. So if you look at the second question and the fourth question, these are questions that ask you to give your answer as an algebra in algebraic form. Now, X and Y are unknowns, as I told you earlier. However, they can also be replaced with numbers, with values. Okay? So another word for values is numbers. Let's see how we can get this done. This is by a process called substitution. Okay? Sometimes people call this replacement. Both have the same meaning. Okay, now let's take a look. Now we try to find the value of the following questions when A is given a value of 5. So for question 1, we have 15 plus A. Now instead of the letter A, I'm going to write A as 5 because the question right at the top says A is equals to 5, right? So 15 plus A is 15 plus 5. Okay. Note that my A now has been replaced by the number 5. Everything else that is not A, I just copy it down. So what is 15 plus 5? And if you were to hit the calculator, 15 plus 5 will give you 20. Now let's take a look at the second question, A minus half. So now my unknown is here. I'm going to replace my unknown with 5. 5 minus half. Okay? And from here, we could work it out to 4 and a half. How about the next one? 3A. A is 5. 3A. Does this mean that it's 35? Now when we have a number and a letter together, it doesn't mean we put the numbers together like that. No. It actually means it is 3 times A. And if we replace A by 5, it is 3 times 5, and that gives us 15. See, for algebra, when we want to multiply one number and one letter together, we put them together, but we leave out the multiplication sign. Okay? So just take note that 3A is actually 3 multiplied by A. There is a multiplication sign that is not written out when it comes to multiplication of a number and an unknown. How about number 4? 20 out of A. So that A is in the denominator. Let's replace our denominator with the value of 5. So what is 20 over 5? 20 over 5, the over there, here, do you know what symbol it refers to? Is it plus, minus, times, or divide? It's actually division. So 20 over 5 actually means 20 divided by 5. Okay, and that gives us 4. So that's how we work out values. Now next, we're going to a bit more complicated kind of question. So we have 2A plus 4 out of 7. Now you realize that the 2 goes with the A. There's nothing in between the number and the letter. That means that it is 2 times 5, okay? And then plus 4 over 7. This 2 times 5 in the bracket basically is represented by 2A. So if I were to box this up, this is represented by 2A in the question. Okay? Yeah. Everything else, the plus 4 over 7, I basically just copy it down. Okay, let's work it out step by step. Order of operations, 2 times 5, that gives you 10. Copy down the rest, plus 4 out of 7. So numerator, 10 plus 4 gives you 14 out of 7. And 14 out of 7, let me break it down again. This basically means 14 divided by 7. So 14 divided by 7 gives you 2. That's how we work it out. Now, next question, 9 minus A out of 2. So now we know very well A is 5. In the context of this question, let's replace A by 5. So first, let's work on the numerator. We can simplify it. So when we take 9 minus 5, that's 4. 4 out of 2. 4 out of 2 stands for 4 divided by 2. So 4 divided by 2 gives you 2. And the last question, 12 out of 8a. 12 in the numerator remains. Now, do you recall what 8a stands for? When you have a number and a letter, this means you take 8 multiplied by the value of a. Okay? So 8 times a will be 8 times 5 in the denominator. Next, what we can do is we simplify the denominator because we can multiply easily. So 12 out of 40. And with that, we bring it to the simplest form. We divide top and bottom by 4. We will get 3 out of 10. Okay, so that will be our answer for 7. Now, 2 things you need to remember when you simplify expressions. Number 1, like terms can be combined. Unlike terms cannot be combined. What do I mean by that? Now, like terms refers to terms like 2a plus 3a. Okay? Both terms are terms containing the unknown a. They are like terms. So 2a plus 3a gives you 5a. What do you mean by unlike terms? Unlike terms would be something like that. Let's say we have 3a plus 4c. Oops, one term is an a term, one term is a c term. Okay? The first term is an a term, the second term is a c term. Now, such terms cannot be combined. Please don't take 4 plus 3 and give you 7. A plus c put together and put ac. This is not right. Okay, this should not happen. Okay, so I'm going to erase this. All right. Now, next, to take note of 1x. Okay, that means one unit of something. In algebra, we do not put the number 1 there. We just put it down as x. Okay. So, for example, if you were to have, let's say, a plus 3a. Now, the a in front here stands for 1 unit of a, add to 3 units of a. So 1 unit of a and 3 units of a, that makes 4 units of a. So the answer will be 4a. There is an imaginary 1 here, but it's not written down. Okay? Similarly, if I were to have 5 units of a minus 4 units of a, now we know that if you have 5 units of something and you take away 4 units, you're left with 1, right? So instead of writing down 1a in algebra, let's leave out the a. And this is good enough. Okay, now lastly, let's take a look at how we form expressions using plus, minus, times, and divide, the 4 operations. So for question 1, add 5 to 3a. For addition, we use the plus sign, right? So if we add 5 to 3a, it will be written as 5 plus 3a, okay? Because add would mean you have to use the plus sign. And if you notice, the 2 terms, they are unlike terms. We don't put them together. Next, add 7b to 1. Similar kind of question. Because of the word add, we have a plus. And what do we add together? 7b plus 1. Now you might ask, let's say if I want to shift it around, can I, for the first question, write it as 3a plus 5? Can or not? And okay, so I will put this down. You can write it 3a plus 5 as well. Because for addition, for example, you have 1 plus 3. Isn't it 3 plus 1? Same, right? Yeah. So same for the second question. You can write it as 7b plus 1 or 1 plus 7b. No difference when it comes to addition. When we look at subtraction, now question 3 and 4, subtract 13 from 4c, subtract 5a from 3. We know subtraction would be the minus sign. Now subtraction, we must be careful because we need to know which is the number that you have at first and what is taken away. So if we subtract 13 from 4c, means that 13 is taken away. Taken away from what is there. So 4c is what is there first. So in our expression, 4c take away 13 for the fact that you subtract 13. We cannot say 13 minus 4c. That's not right. So perhaps let me put down. It is not 13 minus 4c. Okay. After the word from, the next number would tell you what the value that is there in the first place. What is there in the first place? Okay, now let's take a look at question 4. Subtract 5a from 3. So what is there in the first place? Is it 5a there in the first place, or is it 3 there in the first place? Okay, let's take a look. From 3. So 3 will appear first. So 3 take away 5a. That would be the answer. Question 5, question 6, multiplication. Just now, I told you that when a number multiplies by a letter, it's just put together. So when we put it together, it will be 2a. That's it. How about 5 times c? That will be 5c. Simple. Now next, 3 divided by d. Division sign, if you remember, I told you, we leave it as a fraction. So what's in the numerator? The first number always appears in the numerator. So I'm going to put this down, numerator. And the second number, or the second letter, depends on how it's written, appears in the denominator. So 3 divided by d will be 3 out of d as a fraction. So it will be expressed this way. Last question, a really tricky one, because you see brackets, you see multiplication sign, and you see a division sign as well. Okay, let's see. We can box it up as 5 multiplied by b, this whole thing here, divide by 4 times of c. Okay, so if we were to write it down algebraically, the divide sign, okay, will be the line between the numerator and the denominator, isn't it? Now, numerator would be what comes before the division sign. That will be 5 times b. And the denominator would be what comes after the division sign, which is 4 times c. Okay, now we can simplify numerator and denominator individually. 5 times b, 5b. Put in the division sign there, 4 times c, 4c. So that will be the answer for the last question. Yeah, so that concludes my short sharing about what algebra is all about, basic algebra. I hope you have a better understanding of algebra and are more keen to solve algebraic questions along the way. All right, thank you for your time. Take care. Bye.